Welcome back. Well, the Seattle City Council, in a preliminary vote, approving a series of proposed budget cuts to its police department, including cuts of at least $966,000, almost $1 million, and layoffs for 100 officers. It falls short of the demands of some rioters, urging the council to slash their police department's budget in half. Here now is the president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild, Mike Solan. So, Mike, your reaction this morning? Facing a possible 50% cut, maybe this looks better, but what's the reality of what they approved anyway?
Hey, Pete, good to be here again with you. But the reality is that, the ignored majority, the reasonable community in the city of Seattle, are starting to be heard. That's why we pushed out a campaign called StopDefunding.com for people to sign a petition. And, Pete, we got over 150,000 signatures in 1 week.
Wow.
Where people were like, no, we're not going to put up with this unreasonable activism by the fringe majority of the city council. But let's be clear, what happened yesterday, they're still coming after us defunding. We're going to lose a little over 100 officers in this budget cycle, and they're going to keep coming for the next budget cycle in 2021. And so we must have people continue to push back against this unreasonable activism, this defund nonsense, which will put people's public safety in dangerous predicament. Well,
here's a few of the items that the city council is proposing to cut. $800,000 from recruitment and retention. To your point, that means less officers. $80,000 from patrol, $50,000 from travel, $36,000 from implicit bias training. I thought that was their favorite type of training. This is just going to mean less officers, less capable officers on the street for you?
That's right. It's going to be a rise in 911 wait times, rise in crime. And I tell you, the hypocrisy of this is unbelievable. As of almost 3 months ago now, the president of the city council and the mayor were applauding this agency as being the most progressive agency in the nation, leading on training, leading on de-escalation, leading on constitutional policing. But yet here we are, the city council is still looking at defunding us. I mean, total political pandering, to say the least. And now with 2021 coming, there are going to be more moves to defund us for political pandering purposes. To me, it's unconscionable. And if you're a reasonable, ignored majority resident in this city and across the nation, this is going to be real again in the next budget cycle, that we must have people sign a petition to keep this process going.
Mike, do you think, Seattle famously very left-wing in support of a lot of these protests. Do you think that what you call them the reasonable silent majority, I think, are there enough of them to change who represents them in the city council on this topic?
Well, clearly, Pete, I think 150,000 signatures at StopDefunding.com is that ignored majority, that reasonable voice saying, no, we're not going to put up with this unreasonable activism because their public safety safety is in jeopardy.
Well, they have homes, they have kids, they have livelihoods, and ultimately they know exactly who they're calling at that moment to come to their assistance. God bless those officers that are under siege there. They're seeing the department cut, but they do their job every single day. Mike Solan, thank you. Great spokesman for that department.